Yes, that's it. Seth Gunn. Ron Norton. Okay, nice to meet you. Any relations? Yeah, okay, all right. Seth Gunn. You too, Commissioner.
I've seen you before.
All right.
It is 9 o'clock. Please rise for invocation and flag salute. We'll call this meeting to order.
Heavenly Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for bringing all this dinner together and these people that have come today and voice their concerns and just be with this, that we get our attitudes to be pleasing to you. In Jesus' name I pray.
Join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item number 3 was overlooked in the preliminary was inadvertently left on. We'll go to item number 4, approval and modification of the minutes. We don't have any minutes at this time. Move to item 5, any miscellaneous items from the audience? Please come up and speak, state your name for the record.
Where do you want?
Just right here with the microphone. We'll get it well.
All right. I'm Steve Preston, resident of Payne County. I know a couple of you. Seth, welcome to the commission.
Thank you.
I last saw you all out at the county fairgrounds last fall over the transmission line issue. I'm just checking on it. I've kind of gotten involved with some of the people that are loosely working on it together, concerned about it. Just wondering if you guys know anything new.
I know from my understanding, the NIETC corridor has been terminated through here. But as far as anything else, I'm unaware of the Cimarron Link or any of those. Those are private lines and buying easements from landowners, and so I don't know where they are on that. Anybody else?
No, I just heard that they are still trying to get easements from people that I don't know anything else about it.
So in the 6 or 8 months I've been involved on this issue, I really got involved over the eminent domain. You know, that's just not right to use that for those purposes. I think we've had a legislative semi-solution this year. Looks like they've turned that over a little bit to the Corporation Commission. So maybe that's a win on that to resist that a little. But what it looks like to me, the long game is these companies are getting involved and they're buying up easements whenever, wherever they can. They don't really care about what happens next. They sell the company. And that's why there's so many of these names involved. And so over time, I think what's happening is they're getting their easements, and then if they have enough momentum, they will put a line through wherever they've got the easements, and they'll do what they've got to get the last few pieces of property on the path. But anyway, I would just encourage you guys, do whatever you can to resist that. I think the long game, we're not gonna need all these lines. Yeah, I know that not everybody will agree with me, but after 9 years on the board of Central Rural Electric Co-op, I've come to believe the future 50 years from now, I don't know, man. Most of us will have little mini nuclear reactors in our backyard. We've already got that technology, it's already well proven, and it's a good way to go. In the shorter term, for us personally, our family, we overproduce electricity 9 months out of the year. When you guys crank up your air conditioners this summer, we're giving you some of that electricity. We don't need to bring it in from other places. We do that with a handful of solar panels. And if the utility companies would pay us a fair rate for it, we'd produce more.
Like we had stated in the meetings out there, that we are limited, but we do have a voice, and we've used that to help try to stop the eminent domain.
I appreciate that. So like I say, just came to chat here, anything new from the land.
Okay.
So thank you all.
Thank you. Any other miscellaneous items from the audience?
I'm Kathy Atkins.
Come on up.
Let's see, right in here somewhere.
Yeah, it's right here, so the microphone.
So I came in
Could you
support.
state your name again? for the
My name's
record?
Kathy Atkins, and I'm a resident of Payne County.
Okay.
And I got appointed with Stu through my interest in what was going on in the domain cases, and we're still watching that very carefully. There's an active group of citizens in Payne County who are meeting regularly to talk about this and to get updates about what's going on. I had a secondary issue that is a little different from what Stu's concerned about, but the plant over at Cushing that just got denied is cutting up turbine blades, has moved down to Highway 133 or 33. And as of yesterday, I think, well, I guess they dumped solid blades a couple days ago, and then they were transporting again yesterday. Had an incident on 33 where the tractor got stuck trying to pull in the facility. It's kind of a rough start for them. My main concern is that they follow all state laws, are registered with Oklahoma Corporation Commission as required, and the DEQ, which is required, and they don't seem to have done that in Cushing. There is a licensed facility in Woodward that is properly licensed and has 2 permits. I think one is on site at where the wind turbine is, for that for transportation, and also I think the further demulching issues. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention and make sure you're aware. Not sure exactly how it's going to affect the county. Right now they're using state road. Who's to say they won't start using county roads to transport it? We understand that perhaps it's destined for Tulsa for their gas energy plant. Don't know that for a fact. So that was why I came today. One to support Stu and also to speak about the wind turbine operation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other miscellaneous items from the audience?
I have a little bit to add, members.
If you can come up. Just take your name for the record.
Gloria, Payne County resident also. My mom owns the property that is being next to where they are deciding to either hold or possibly decide to grind this material. If this material decides to be ground up, it is a major hazard to our waterways. The property is a natural washway into a creek that leads into the Cimarron River. This is something I'd like everybody to get stopped, basically. It is, I have a picture. This is stacked on our fence line. We have the property right next to it. If the wind is too low, because they shed these three blades, or not three blades, the blades into three different compartments. And that top one will blow right over onto our property. This is about 10 feet from our property, the fence line. You could see the T-post in that. Also, basically the sheds off to the sides of the turbine will also be washing right down into the washway, which will lead down into the creek that goes right through our property, and it will lead all the way down, all the way into other people's properties, straight down to the Cimarron eventually. So this is a hazard, even though they're saying it's not, it will leach into the ground eventually and be a problem. So that's just all I wanted to add to her thing, if you guys can help stop it, move it, get it out of there. My uncle was almost hit yesterday by one of those semis coming out of that property. So just something if you guys can help out. And that's all I had to say.
Thank you, thank you.
I'm Diana Bates. I live southwest of Stillwater. I'm in Payne County, of course. I'm in Markham's District 3. I'm concerned about the same issues that have already been discussed regarding the windmill grinding of the wind blades. There are hay fields in the area, there are wheat fields in the area, and the issue is if they're going to grind, what machinery are they using to filter the air in their building or outside of wherever they're going to do that? Like I said, they have to clean the air that where the fiberglass is not reaching to the hay fields and the wheat fields. Across the road is hay fields owned by James Sissons, and north of it is where Melvin Graves Fair used to be, and there's hay fields and wheat fields there. There's a lot of different hay, in a lot of areas that's even a half mile away, a mile away. My property is 400 acres, 1 mile away from this facility. Your greater man, Johnny Jones, he lives an eighth of a mile from the property that Ray Sealy Downey is talking about. So, there's a lot of concerns for air quality. We don't know if the EPA can get involved. We don't know, DEQ, like the other lady said, Oklahoma Corporation Commission, testing of the air, testing of the water, testing of the soil. Those are all things to think about. We have live water on our property, and it's separate live water from Marie's, but it also dumps into the Cimarron. And of course, the Cimarron goes to the Keystone. There's also Whitmore Farms that is right there, a half a mile away, and when the wind blows from the south, from this facility, or even if it blows northeast, you're catching the gardens, the vegetables, and the fruits that are sold at Stillwater Farmers Market. They are sold at Edmond Farmers Market. And, that affects a lot of people. If you had fiberglass, anything to do with contamination of the air and whatever, and the quality of the air. So, those are just things that I have in my mind that I was concerned about. The agriculture and food production for the people of Payne County and Oklahoma County as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other miscellaneous items from the audience?
Ron Markham, resident of Payne County, and I kind of echo their comments as well. I think the basically dealing with the wild, wild west here. This is a brand new industry coming in, and I can't say for sure, but it's kind of obvious these blades are coming from somewhere outside of our county. And if it becomes known that Payne County becomes a dumping ground for this, we will have wind turbines from all over the United States coming in here, being recycled, well, they can't be recycled, but being processed. And I think if we become the dumping ground for bad wind turbine blades, we're gonna be knee-deep in a large portion of Payne County in these blades, because if you look at the wind turbines all across the United States, they go bad, and it's obvious. The new ones here in our area haven't gone bad yet, so these aren't those blades. And if Payne County becomes open for business for this kind of industry, we're gonna be knee-deep in recycled waste here. So I would suggest you guys, I would ask you guys to start looking for remedies for the citizens, especially like these ladies here that have adjoining property. Their property rights are going to be affected. And at some point, there's gonna be some laws, rules, regulations that have to come into place. And you guys are gonna have to balance property rights against protection of citizens. So, and you need to do that pretty quick, because basically this is the Wild West on this industry. And if that place that's just opened up in the south part of Payne County doesn't at least have to follow the same rules as a commercial landfill, I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't get wind turbine blades from Wyoming, Idaho, everything else here, and just stack that place sky high. So, rather than just have this become a gripe session, I would encourage you to start looking at minimum, a resolution that would ensure property rights to everyone, and then you're gonna have to start balancing what you're gonna do as a commission to protect those rights, and at the same time, be a little compassionate toward industry at the same time. So, not an easy problem, but I would suggest that you guys start looking at that and seriously looking at that in short order, or the foot's gonna be in the door, the camel's nose is in the tent already, and if you don't get some sort of plan on how to deal with this, we're gonna get overrun. So, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Is there any other miscellaneous items from the audience?
I'd like to add one more thing to what I had said earlier. So, the wildfires, you know, guys went through, if these wind turbines catch on fire, those things are gonna be so toxic. You got your hydrogen cyanide in them, there's all sorts of different cancerous stuff. So we need to think about that if we ever get another drought, and we have all of these turbines built up, and they're just sitting there, there's farmland all around it. You know how the wildfires all went through, same thing happened, all that be burning up, and everybody is gonna be possibly dying out because of just catching on fire. So it's another hazard, just trying to throw that out there.
Okay. Yes.
I'm James McDonald, 5413 South Sanger Road. Like this gentleman said,
I know.
Could you state your last name again?
McDonald, James McDonald, 5413 South Sanger Road. Like this gentleman said on here, I have no compassion for this industry. They're bullies. They're coming in here and dumping their waste on our property in Payne County. The resolutions that need to take place needs to take place now somehow. Whether yourselves or your legal advisors come up with some kind of regulation that will protect us against eminent domain. I realize that eminent domain is a vast definition. I've had to personally deal with the petroleum companies come along the easement, come across my property. And they're obviously financially bigger than what I'm able to do. but, they come in and threaten eminent domain, and, I don't think they're using it as public use, that it is not necessarily gonna, the only people that's gonna gain anything from this at this time are the ones that they come in and say, we're gonna declare eminent domain, and if you don't sign with us, we will declare that. Eminent domain requires that a fair value be given for that piece of property. And I can tell you right now for certain that the values that those that have signed on for an easement are allowing this waste to be dumped on the property. One, they financially, maybe they really need the money, but they're receiving pennies on the dollar for what their land value is really worth. The land values in Payne County, especially, I can't say southwestern because it applies to the northeastern part of our Payne County, have tremendously excelled, have gone up. But what they're offering these people who are fearful that they're going to get nothing if they don't sign, they're getting pennies on the dollar for what the land is really being sold for right now. I don't know how much, I haven't talked to them to specifically know how much per acre, but I know where I'm at. The land's selling for undeveloped land at auction is going for $14,000–15,000 an acre. These people aren't paying these people that kind of money for their land, for their easement. And basically, when you're given an easement, you're given your right of way, rights to that property. You're selling your property. You're not just leasing it to them. You're selling it to them. It's forever. You're never going to be able to do what you would probably do with it. And I realize a lot of this land is probably people that's going, a lot of it is people that don't live in Payne County. Grandparents, parents used to farm the land, use it for agricultural purposes, their livelihood. Their kids now live in Houston, Texas, Dallas, New York City. They could care less. So we've got Wild West is definitely what it is. So I hope that you will seek further legal advice to be able to have a say-so in what people can come and say, hey, I've been approached, and that they want to an easement, and you can have some teeth. Say no. What are you going to? Well, you ask the question, what are you going to do with it if you're going to become a dump? I mean, you can see Mount Wells out here south of town, how tall that thing has got right now. And he's right. These turbines, these blades, and these turbines are going to come from all over the United States, not just Oklahoma. They're brand new. Well, out to I-35, I'm sure you've seen those out there. But where are they coming from? They don't have to. They're not telling you. They don't tell you. They don't tell you what the condition was, why they're bringing them here, other than they're broken and they can't use them anymore. So somehow, Payne County, you as commissioners representing us that live here, need to immediately find a legal solution somehow that can deter these people from coming in here and threatening the residents with eminent domain. Like I said, it's a wide definition, but I hope that you will. I know your bucket's full with a lot of other things, but this is something that needs immediate attention. So, the roads are taking up your time right now, but this is something long term. And it's, of course, those are also long-term. But you have the means to deal with that. I don't think I don't know at this point that I've demonstrated or that I've seen any publication showing where you have an authority right now to stop them from threatening the people with eminent domain when they really, I guess the Supreme Court has to determine whether fits regulations for eminent domain. You know, that's the only, but here in Payne County, if nothing else, you stall it long enough. So it has to go to the court system. I personally was giving some advice to a person that was approached by these people many years ago, wanting to come through their property illegally. And so he suggested that you give me $10,000 for legal advice. I can't afford legal advice. You wouldn't do anything with legal advice. Without legal advice. You give me that and I'll consider it. I'm not going to tell you I'll give you these. They never came back. That's happened 3 times. So I was setting some kind of a precedent by telling them that, all right, you give me money up front for legal advice. And that's true. They're not going to do anything without their legal advice. Something about setting a precedent, what I said, has alienated them from coming back to talk to me or seeking any further. So, thank you for your time. I encourage you. I hope you will advance with some kind of legal advice to allow you to stop them or at least delay them. Delay them for 50 years, I don't care. But I have no compassion for their, whether they make a buck or a penny or $1 million. What I have compassion for is the landowners that's going to suffer through this. And some of them, they don't live where they live right here, they live right next door to where this property is at. And they're losing their dream of a future on that property when it becomes, if the fiberglass dust blows onto the property, that their cattle die from the fiberglass that was put blown into the hay fields when they grind it and recycle it. It's a far more reaching process than some of the people have kindly tried to be nice about it. Those people go away. Go to Kansas, go to Texas, but don't come through Payne County. And I think the definition of eminent domain says you will exhaust. Eminent domain is when you've exhausted all other means and methods. That's a wide range. The petroleum won't come across. They want to come through my dam on my pond, the only pond I have. And I had joined a group with legal advice from over near Enid, pipeline coming through. Our attorney was telling, okay, you're going to have to go around that dam. You can't cut through it. They went around the dam. But because we had legal advice, we got more for our easement than the people that didn't see it. They gave in. And a lot of these people can't afford legal advice. But that's what they should do. But anyway, thank you for your time. Have you got any questions for me?
No, I would just agree with the sentiment. There's a lot of people that don't have any vested interest in the lifestyles or the land here in Payne County, and they're looking for the buck. About all we can do really is and what I would encourage everybody to do is reach out to your legislators.
Well, I think there has been Ms. Perry and Son that have done so, but what you as the commissioners, what have y'all done with your legal advice, seeking advice on, that'd be the question I would ask. How far have you gone? That's why we're coming here to talk to you all specifically today. Because some folks don't have access to the internet or the Facebook and know all this is going on. They're just, okay, I have a neighbor across the street that has land south of me that has already agreed to it. He says, I don't think you understand. And why I did this, it's the government, it has the right to do it, not the government. They have the right only through legal ways. But I would say, have y'all heard from your legal advice on what you can or cannot do? Or how often do you meet with them specifically on this issue?
Well, through the years, in visiting with our legal counsel, they have let us know that we really have no legal authority. The thing that the county can do is pass zoning laws by a vote of the people. And that is about the only teeth that we could get.
How long does it take to be able to get that on a ballot to vote by the people?
Oh, it would probably take, I mean, I'd have to visit with the election board secretary, but I would say to get it done, probably a year. But
You should start today to get that kind of vote to come up. Because who knows, within a year, they're gonna have property, that power line, that corridor is all along the Cimarron River. And who knows, I mean, it's gonna, next thing you know, the folks at Keystone Lake are gonna be thinking, why are you folks in Payne County not try to stop this or not stop this?
well, the legislature is listening because they had a lot of bills, setback bills and things that they were trying to address last legislative session. And so really they're the ones with all the authority, and they're the ones that grant us what authority we have. And I will reach out tonight. There is a Republican Party over at the church down the street.
Yeah.
And it's my understanding that many of the statewide elected officials and local elected officials will be there. So it would be a good opportunity for you to bend their ear and let them know your concerns as well.
Thank you. I appreciate your efforts to do that. I hope all three of you will do that. Because it's southwest Payne County right now, but you can go out Highway 51 and see what's happening Highway 108, the station there. I'm sure the people next door to that aren't thrilled to death with that. Probably not going to be interested in it. Thank you for your.
I did reach out to our ADA. He told me that we do not have, the county has, we have no right for any regulations. We can't put any regulations on anything. So at this point, our hands are tied. But I did reach out to him over a week ago, and that's what he got back with me with.
Well, you all have more power than I think that happens here right now. I mean, you have to keep going on, but thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question. Do we know, or anybody else, that when they moved from Cushing, are they grinding right now? Are they just sitting on somebody's property? Do they have to have a permission to have that there, or how does that work? Does that make sense?
I actually don't know the answer to your question. What I was going to say is, you all might consult the city manager in Cushing and find out how they got them to leave. Because there was a ruckus, a big ruckus in Cushing. No one from outside, but the citizens of Cushing really banded together against this industry. And I think something must have happened. I'm over here every day, so I'm not sure what happened. But you might talk to the city manager of Cushing and see how they handled the situation. It's just a thought.
Well, the facility was what's inside the city, and cities
Yes.
have more authority than the county.
That's true.
So they was able to not grant them the permission that was needed for them to do that.
Because you're in Cushing every day.
So that's why they had to move. But cities have powers that the county does not.
So is there no permits that they need to be filing for you guys?
We have, the only permits that we have is road crossing permits and industrial access permits. That's the only thing that the legislature gives us authority.
Well, what's an industrial access permit? I know what a road access permit is.
That is something that we implemented to try to slow down down or maybe deter or recover some of the cost or whatever, to give us advance notice of any time an industry is accessing land off of a county road. So if an oil well is going to be drilled, they have to get an industrial access permit. If if a power line is coming through, like a transmission line, they have to get an industrial access permit for both sides of the road.
Well, if you have the right to issue permits for truck crossings there, you do have the power right there to delay if you know what those trucks are going to be coming across the property. You do have the right to, well, we can't issue that permit right now. That slows them down. Everybody knows that Highway 33, probably one of the deadliest highways there are in the state of Oklahoma right now. It's weekly, if not multiple times a month. There's fatalities on that Highway 33, and that's where these properties are going, right adjacent to those properties right now. So you do have a method that you can slow this down, and if you delay them long enough, they go look somewhere else.
If they're accessing off a state highway, we don't have any authority.
Okay, but they gotta go onto a county road when they get off that highway, and so you do have the ability to block that highway temporarily. And I say temporarily, that may, whether that's, I don't know what the definition is, for 2 days, a week, or a year. But there is a mechanic right there, way, that you can deter them from getting into that piece of property. Allow it, not allow it. So you do have more power than what you're telling us, that you have no way of stopping them. Yes, you do. You can keep them from going onto the county roads, which are in dire need right now. And I've gone through this with the oil companies coming up and down the road, and sometimes they'll pay for some gravel, sometimes they won't, but they daily, twice, 3 times a day, they go down my road and adjacent to my property. And so there is a thing that you can do right there. Now, maybe it have been brought to you, it skipped your mind, but once they get off that state highway, they're on a county road. And you can stop the trucks from going down that highway and tearing up that highway.
Particular one.
So,
It's directly off the highway.
No, they don't have to use the county road to access it.
Now, transport it out, that might be different.
No,
We
it's,
don't know, well, we don't know how they're heading, so.
they head directly towards Cushing. They've been parking at the truck stops. I don't know where they go after that, but more worried about it being what they're turning into eventually.
But this particular site where they're currently dumping them is a direct, straight off the highway, like state highway, so like they just go straight from highway right into that property, and that's where they're dumping them, so, okay. But they're not grinding yet, correct, or?
I don't know, because, when I got on the hill, on our property and stared back at their stuff, they have started, clearing the grassland, and so I don't know if they're already setting up, there's cranes, there's excavators, there's all sorts of equipment already set up behind this dispensary. Or what used to be a dispensary.
So what I think applies to this situation is that they are supposed to go through the Oklahoma Corporation Commission, pay a fee, and fill out a permit as a notification. No action indicated anything I saw. I also saw, when I looked Friday night, that DEQ has a permit and a process, and it wasn't completely clear to me on what issues this would fit, but they do have to go through the DEQ, and there was no indication that Cushing had gone through that process, so we're concerned that this firm is not paying attention to Oklahoma laws. Now, they hadn't been in operation very long, and maybe they hadn't reached a certain point, maybe websites hadn't gotten updated, I don't know. But no indication that they had done what the facility in Woodward, which has been in operation itself, basically advertises that they cut and fill dust-controlled environments, and then when they get to the processing plant, it's a dust-controlled environment. So they may perhaps be a model of others involved.
since a lot of these folks whose property is involved may not have the means to hire legal service, you as our commissioners, can you provide information to us where we can on our own go look up the permits that has been issued, how we find those permits, have they really filled out those permits properly, if any, and we can do our own policing that way. But if we know how, you know, for me to go pay an attorney to tell me, like, you need to go do this or legal advice, I'd like to see the county provide us an area of avenue, how we can go find out whether a legal permit has been issued or requested or has been issued. Is it properly filled out? And if it's not completely and properly filled out, then there is a way to stop some of that. But I would ask the commissioners to provide us with that kind of information, where to go and who to talk to on permits.
One point I know there's been at least 20 people passed between 177 and the Coral Bridge in the last 10 years. And I can tell you exactly where every person has passed, because I know, I live there. With these trucks coming in, with these loads of blades, there's a hill to the west and there's a hill to the east. We've got all this road construction going on. So what's going to happen is you're going to see more wrecks, just like that truck yesterday tried to pull off and got stuck because he couldn't make the turn off of 33. And all this traffic back behind him to the west, coming down that hill that couldn't see. And you're going to see more. And that's going to involve the sheriff's department for the future on that and the highway patrol. And you're going to see more wrecks between those two hills because of what they're doing with this 7-acre property and loading up the families. Now, I realize that's not your cup of tea, but it is kind of. It will involve the law enforcement in this.
All right. Thank you all for being here and expressing your concerns. Yes.
Zach, we are the Wild West. Whether we talk about energy, marijuana, whatever, we're a lot different from the left coast, the right coast. And you guys might remember a bumper sticker a few years ago, think globally, act locally. Here we are, we're local, okay? I would not want to sit in your seat. You guys have an incredible job, and you do a good job. I'm not pumping you up, I'm just saying you don't have the jurisdiction of the DEQ, the EPA, the state in many, many ways. But we do need to look for creative ways to slow this down, okay, when things are bad. I'm reminded of an event I had when I was a young man. I met an old man that told me a story about growing up in Buffalo, New York, around the turn of the last century, 1900. They had a lot of manufacturing going on, and they had a waste product, a liquid from this manufacturing. They didn't know what to do with it, so they dumped it in the rivers. Well, that waste product turned out to be gasoline. Now, over a century ago, some well-meaning citizens might have outlawed gasoline. Imagine that. Imagine that. If gasoline was illegal today, where would we be? Okay? Now, the windmills are already here. We're going to have this waste product with these blades. We've got to find a way to do something. But just like everything else, we've got a country full of entrepreneurs that can figure out how to do that efficiently, make some money. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if they need to build big buildings, call them containers. I don't know if they need to have air purifiers, so scrubbers on the things, so that then they can they can clean the air, and then they can sell the waste product, put it in concrete, use it for other things. There's lots of stuff can be done. But I am encouraging you guys, let's figure out some creative ways to act locally. When you say you talk to council, is that Max Myers? Okay. I've known Max for a long time. You guys can quote me if you want. I'm not going to make any friends again. I've always been a little frustrated that Max is reluctant to step out and get creative with legal solutions. I would encourage you guys to look a little wider, think a little bit bigger. What can you do? I don't know. Noise ordinance, dust ordinance, something to at least slow that kind of stuff down. Because ultimately, we've learned some things in the last few years, and we don't need to dump the gasoline in the river anymore. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I will visit with the legislatures that show up tonight. I will visit with them about these issues. Thanks again. We have bid openings. Item 6A, bid opening for bid number 2026-19, janitorial services for the courthouse. Thank you.
You want to stay and listen to our bid openings for janitorial services, guy? Good.
First up, we have C&C Commercial Cleaning. Bid has been signed and notarized, and the initial cleaning is $980 with a monthly cleaning fee of $675. Next up, we have sandstorm cleaning. Bid has been signed and notarized. Maybe they got their numbers transposed, but their monthly service is $2,800 and their initial cleaning is $450. Next up, we have Alliance Maintenance. Bid has been signed and notarized with a monthly service of $2,410 and an initial cleaning of $1,500. Next up, we have Multi-Clean. Bid has been signed and notarized. A monthly service of $4,148. An initial cleaning of $1,200. Next up, we have B&L Commercial Cleaning. Bid has been signed and notarized with a monthly service of $3,575 and an initial cleaning of $25 per hour. Next up, we have citywide facility solutions. Bid has been signed and notarized. We have a monthly service of $1,676.43 and an initial cleaning of $838.21. That concludes bid number 2026-19, I believe. We will move on to bid number 2026-20, janitorial services for the administration building. First up, C&C commercial cleaning. Bid has been signed and notarized, and a monthly service cost of $1,760. And an initial cleaning of $1,100. Next is sandstone cleaning. Bid has been signed and notarized. The monthly service is $3,600 and an initial cleaning of $650. Next up is Alliance Maintenance. Bid has been signed and notarized. The monthly service is $2,595 and an initial cleaning of $2,200. Next up is multi-clean. It has been signed and notarized. A monthly service of $6,035. And an initial cleaning of $1,560. Next up is B&L commercial cleaning. Bid has been signed and notarized with a monthly service cost of $3,250 and an initial cleaning of $25 per hour.
Repeat that, please.
$3,250 for the monthly, and an initial cleaning fee of $25 per hour. Next up, citywide facility solutions. signed and notarized. And they have multiple prices, one including the third floor and one not including the third floor. How was this bid?
It includes the third floor.
Okay, so
It's partial, like second, third floor, partial, it's not everything up there.
Okay.
They're everywhere.
Then I'll just read the including the third floor price. The monthly service is $3,368.85. And their initial cleaning is $1,684.42. That concludes our bid openings for the day. You ready to evaluate, or would you like to wait?
I'd like to wait, evaluate.
Later date.
Later date.
Sounds good. All right, moving on, more evaluations today. Moving on to item 8A, discussion possible action, mutual cooperative agreement between the town of Glencoe and the Board of County Commissioners. This is to allow the clean program individuals that are assigned to that to work in the town of Glencoe should there be a need or availability. And this was not worded correctly on, it was misprinted, it said Yale last week, so we just went ahead and rerun it to make sure everything's good, so. I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve?
Motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Markham?
Yes.
Commissioner Conley?
Yes.
And Commissioner Cavett votes yes. Item B, discussion possible action lease agreement for printer and services between RK Black, Inc. and the Board of County Commissioners. This is for emergency management. It appears that the monthly lease payment amount is going to be $181 per month. And that's giving them 5,250 black and white copies and 1,050 color copies. And I would, when a motion is made, if you would authorize the chairman to sign on behalf of the board.
I make a motion to approve, the contract with the chairman signing on behalf of the board.
Second.
Motion has been made to approve the contract with RK Black and authorizing the chairman to sign on behalf. Any other discussion? All in favor, Commissioner Markham?
Yes.
Commissioner Conley? Yes. And Commissioner Cavett votes yes. Item C, discussion of possible action contract for annual fire sprinkler inspection between Hammond Fire Systems LLC and the Board of County Commissioners.
Just for mine, for here in the courthouse, does Jody have your own of them, Sheriff? That's what I thought. I know it's courthouse, I didn't want to overspeak, but, we're here to start renewal with Hammond.
Yeah. The courthouse is $300, jail is $300, administration building is $450, and fire pump inspection is $400.
I make a motion to approve contract.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the contract with Hammond Fire Systems and Board of County Commissioners. Any other discussion? All in favor, Commissioner Markham?
Yes.
Commissioner Conley?
Yes.
Commissioner Cavett votes yes. All right, item D, discussion of possible action final plat for Stonewall Ranch. They did get the treasurer's office to sign after they paid their taxes.
Found it. Oh, thanks.
Thank you, dears. Thank you. The streets will not be maintained by the county. It appears like everything's going to be, it,
Okay, make a approve the plat for Stillwater.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor, Commissioner Markham?
Yes.
Commissioner Conley?
Yes.
And Commissioner Cavett votes yes. All right, item E, any ingress egress agreements?
I have three, okay, these are for Sanger Road between, Lakeview and McElroy. And those are the ingress agreements.
Clearing slopes.
Yeah, getting ready to work from building that road.
Second. Motion.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the ingress egress agreement. 2, 3? Any other discussion? All in favor, Commissioner Markham?
Yes.
Commissioner Conley?
Yes.
And Commissioner Cavett votes yes. Appointment of requisitioning receiving officers.
For the district attorney's general accounts, they have, everything's the same except for their warrants. They have taken off Brenda Hendrickson and added Lauren Austin Thomas and keeping Scott Staley. For their search and seizure, they have, for their current receiving officers, they have Melinda Bradford and Sarah Robinson. The requisitioning officers are staying the same, and the warrants are staying the same also. And for their opioid account, everything is staying the same. For the drug court, nothing has changed, all the same. For Ripley Fire, the new requisitioning officers are Zach Sales, Daniel Wooler, actually that didn't change, and neither did the receiving officers. For the Glencoe Fire Department, nothing changed on that. For the Yale Fire, nothing changed on that. For the Ingalls Fire Department, nothing has changed on that. It's the same. For the Fair Board, nothing has changed on that.
I see that there's only one, they've removed Tina West from receiving.
No, she's on there.
It got changed.
She's on here.
Okay, from the line I had it.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's on here. For the ARPA account, everything is staying the same. For the contingency account, everything's staying the same. For District 1, they have everything but the receiving officers are the same. They are keeping Shauna Bales and adding Carrie Wright and removing David Shreves. And for the self-insurance, everything is the same.
Make a motion to approve the requisition receiving officers for items 1 to 12.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve the fiscal year 25-26 receiving officers as item 1 through 12 as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor, Commissioner Markham?
Yes.
Commissioner Conley?
Yes.
And Commissioner Cavett votes yes. Any cash appropriations?
I have none.
Any transfers?
I have none.
Purchase orders.
Purchase orders to be paid today are $77,755.64. and blankets for the month of July are $303,580.62.
Make a motion to approve upon signature.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to approve purchase orders upon signature. Any other discussion? All in favor, Commissioner Markham?
Yes.
Commissioner Conley?
Yes.
Commissioner Cavett votes yes. Any monthly reports of officers?
I have one for the sheriff's office. They have an ending balance for June of $87,253.70 for their depository account. That's all I have.
And then I gave everybody, the environmental enforcement, monthly report for June. I make a motion to acknowledge the monthly reports.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to acknowledge the monthly reports of officers. Any other discussion? All in favor, Commissioner Markham?
Yes.
Commissioner Conley?
Yes.
And Commissioner Cavett votes yes. Item number 9, is there public announcements from the board? Hearing none. Any road crossings?
No.
Any new business? Hearing none, we'll begin to sign our documentation.
Sitting here, I didn't realize that just look down, that would look great. I'm gonna put these with the check for your bereavement. Are those the checks?
These are them, I just need to sign them. I'm gonna read them to you after this.
I thought you might wanna see the statement,
Yes.
so I brought those up. I'd be happy to make copies for you, but I like all what's back from my records, and make a copy for Reese as well.
Yeah.
Okay. See y'all at 11. 11 a.m.
Send a lot of copies there.
Did a lot of what?
A lot of copies.
All right.
5,000, what it was, not sure.
Is that what? Yeah. I gotta look at it.
But just use your pen here, cause it's bleeding through with it. Use your pen. It signs a little better stuff on it, but I would use pen, but for the Mylars.
And that's how we're working for again.
This one for that one. Just me?
Yes.
Oh. I thought it was Zach. That's why I didn't do it. I didn't even,
You don't know what your number
I didn't even know. No, I just looked at, I usually look at the top. So, that's why, yeah. That one is weird. Thank you. I thought it was Zach and I thought I signed it. I didn't even look, literally didn't even look at the bottom.
seconded, all in